Alright, so you're just gonna sit on that table?
Yes, okay. You're right. Cool.
Okay, this one.
It's pretty close. Am I looking at you or am I looking at the camera?
That you can have the worst posture ever.
Oh, good.
Welcome.
I would say that Skule Nite is a show which U of T engineers put on every year. I always start off by saying it may not be a professional show, but it's probably one of the highest quality amateur productions you'll ever see.
My friends always ask me what Skule Nite is, and it's always really, really difficult to say what it is. All I tell them is that you're going to laugh your butt off.
I think at its basic, most refined form, Skule Nite is engineers making fun of ourselves. It takes this terrible situation that we find ourselves in, and it makes it, suddenly that much more bearable.
I often tell people, as my intro joke, that it's engineers pretending they can sing and dance and act and write and play instruments. But then I get really serious and say that it's actually incredible the amount of talent and dedication that there is to Skule Nite. And so it's this magical creation that somehow exists against all odds that people don't believe.
Skule Nite is the other side of engineers. It's all of the things that we don't get to show in the classroom or at our jobs. It's all of the musical talents, all of the hilarity. It's all of that put on stage for a week. That's what Skule Nite is.
You know when you're drunk and you can't really sort through your mind, but you have all these thoughts shooting out at the same time and they're unfiltered. It's exactly that, but with like mild filter so that all the weird stuff doesn't get through, but all of the funny does.
They're engineering students, but they're also spending all these hours on this show, and people just can't imagine, working that hard. So I think it also sort of selects for a group of people that are just like really, really passionate. Because if you didn't love every second of it, you would not spend nearly the hours that everyone does on the show.
We're really stressed. Engineering students should have better things to do with their time, which is one of the things that struck me really early on as well was, man, like, we have a lot better things than just like sitting in a room and laughing for 3 hours.
But the fact that everyone comes out every year and they all enjoy the show every year, it's just like a testament to, I guess, Skule Nite.
Yeah. A show doesn't run for 92 years unless it's
unless it's great.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Can anybody give me a reason to laugh? I work every day, but I learn so little. I'm trying, but I can't do math.
Oh, you got to school, I don't think I'll survive, yeah.
An engineer's what I was born to be, so why can't I even pass up?
Give me a, anybody give me
a reason to laugh.
I can't pay all my bills by all night. I can't pay off my student loans. I said I'll make it here. What do I have here?
My fridge is empty, babe, I'm in.
Give me a, anybody give me. Fail that test, every test, derive. But I don't know.
Skule Nite basically began as what they called a stunt night, and it was in 1921. It was held at Massey Hall in Toronto, and it was very, very well received. They did it again in the following year, in 1922. And then in 1923, it changed to go to Hart House Theatre. Part of the reason that they moved there was to get women into Hart House, because of course it was a men's-only facility at that time. In 1961, they had a cast well in excess of 145 of whom were women. It was just spectacular. Well, that kind of petered out in the radical 60s.
It actually went away for a bit. I think it actually just stopped. As I understand it, they actually tried putting on a proper musical. I think Stop the World, I Want to Get Off.
It was a failure at the box office, and they lost $5,000 in 1968 dollars. So the Engineering Society was just slaughtered in terms of their funds and finances. And so they canceled Skule Nite. So for 4 years there was no Skule Nite. Now, of course, 4 years, a whole generation of students go by. Very few students even knew there was a Skule Nite. And then 1973 marked the centenary year of the School of Practical Science, or Engineering. And as a celebration, a small group of students at the time gathered together and had read about Skule Nite before, and wouldn't it be great? And it's interesting about that particular show, it was intended to be a one-time only. The students involved in the show just thought it was fantastic, they had a great time, and they decided, you know what, this has got to happen again. And it has run continuously every year until up to now.
So we both started on cast in 1TO in our first year. His brother was in it, so that made sense. I was just a dick, and I got on cast. But then, yeah, so we were on cast in 1TO, and then we were on cast for 3 years. So that's 1TO, which is Dan's show, 1T1, which is Mason's show, and 1T2 is Johnny's show. And then we were asked to be the directors.
They are going to put together a brilliant show, and I have complete confidence that Skule Nite 1T3 is in the utmost, most capable, excellent hands. In fact, they are going to put on the best Skule Nite ever! And excited to introduce to you the 2 directors of Skule Nite 1T3. Drum roll, Scott Whitty and Christopher Syme.
You leave such big shoes that 2 people are necessary to
I really think that it's changed my life, like, for the better. And, you know, yeah, best Skule Nite ever.
The biggest thing that the director does is just provide the vision for the entire show. I think it's really important that you have one artistic vision throughout the whole thing. And there are plenty of other amateur shows around there that have different people do different things, and you can feel it on stage. You can feel it when stuff doesn't line up. When decisions have to get made, you need one person that everybody knows that they go to that person to answer the question, and when you have 2 people, that starts to like bifurcate a little bit. And especially when it gets closer to the show, you don't have time for even us to deliberate about anything. So it's like really up in the air, because if we disagree at any point, it's like, well, who gets to decide? Because we're both supposed to be like co-directors. So that was rough.
Skule Nite is awesome because every year it can be something different. And it's really up to the directors to kind of find whatever they like and put it into a show.
So I said to the guy, if she calls her mom on her first date, that's bad news bears. No, man, these are bad news bears.
Global warming is melting the Arctic!
One of the great things about this show at Skule Nite 1T3 is there should be something for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody in the audience should, we should be able to reach out and kind of relate or find a sketch that they can really, really enjoy.
So on the surface, I would say that we do a lot of recognition, especially in the musical numbers, about the engineering student experience. But we try to reflect the aspects that are more universal. So even though you might not have written an engineering exam, you still know what it's like to grapple with that fear of the unknown and that self-doubt, because everybody goes through that at some point.
Well, just in time. You ever failed before? Well, welcome to the rest of your life.
We're kind of bridging the gap, or at least we're
trying
trying
to, yeah.
bridge the gap between the engineering student experience and what it's like for us day to day, and really trying to communicate that through kind of sympathy.
Yeah.
Like the directors are also unofficially the head writers, so a lot of the material, a lot of the pressure is on them to put out material. This year our directors made a really cool decision to put together a formal writing team to support them, which was awesome. It's a little bit more serious than you'd imagine. You'd imagine a writer's room is just people dicking around and throwing airplanes, and eventually one of them will say something hilarious and that becomes a sketch, but there is some method to the madness, I guess.
I want two blimps to slowly make their way to the center of the stage and then hit each other. That sounds crazy.
Battle Blimps, yeah!
Go Battle Blimps, go!
But then you have these cast people that are gonna love it and really invest in it, and then you have technical directors that are gonna just go
build it, yeah.
and make it happen. Learning how crazy an idea would have to be too crazy to do. I think that's so cool. And for every moment that made it on stage in Skule Nite, there was 500,000 other ones that it beat out. It is a surreal experience to create some musical number in your head
and then
one day, and then the very next day, 14 people are singing it in 4-part harmony. It's very, very surreal.
Can I answer honest? Can I answer honest? Am I prepared?
Maybe starting in the summer, we had lots of meetings with the directors, Chris and Scott, and we would just bring giant lists of songs. They would bring some, we would bring some, and we would sort of present them. So sometimes we just had an actual song we loved or an idea and we were trying to find the songs for it. I think in the end we had something like 80 songs that we had discussed.
There needs to be a concept for every song at the end of the day. There has to be some kind of story and idea. And I think what Scott and Chris really wanted to do in their show is there was a story arc to every single song, and there was an overall arc to the entire show.
High level, all of our songs this year deal with the engineering student experience, and hopefully there's enough there for people that aren't engineers as well. But Skule Nite is a show by engineers for engineers, and we wanted to stay true to that the entire way. So all of our songs follow the kind of traditional journey of the engineering student through a typical year, or their entire degree, or these kind of themes show up a lot.
So if a song didn't fit somehow into that large grand scheme of things, it was kind of out, and we got rid of a lot of good songs just because they didn't fit into that vision.
Dealing with kind of where the audience is coming from. So if you picture it, it's middle of March, it's really muddy and cold, and it's just starting to thaw, and everybody's just kind of miserable, and everybody just wants to come to Skule Nite and just wants to laugh. And they want just a reason to laugh. So that's the title of the opener. And the song is Drake.
And then beyond that, you need to sort of balance songs. We have some very heavy, emotional songs. You need to balance them with something happy, otherwise you have a very depressing show. And for one of the songs in the show, there was a very, very strong concept that Scott had come up with from a sketch idea that he had, and we spent literally weeks just looking for the song that fit that idea.
I'm sorry, but I just don't think that engineering is what's best for you. But Mom! Understand? Engineering, they learn about the world around us. In engineering, they get to really make a splash.
We spent many months, myself and the directors, working at choosing songs, figuring out which ones would work the best to relay the message that they're trying to go for in each part of the show. After we've picked the songs, then the songs have to happen. And I'm fortunate in that I have a team of arrangers, people who help me out with this. So there's 5 of us this year who are working on all these songs, and it's a lot of effort, and there's some very, very talented people and a lot of musical talent going into what happens in the show. And I really hope it comes across from the band, but I think the band is one of the most underappreciated things in the show every year.
The directors will be busy, directing and doing with all the rewrites and dealing with the cast, but there's a whole other 2/3 of the show that requires direction that they don't always have time for. So the more that we can do, it frees up for them to deal with what they like to do. So the main role of the producer, at first, we build the budget, to figure out exactly how much money we have, where we're going to spend it. And then it starts to move into more of an advertising role. During Frosh Week, our main job is to promote Skule Nite to first years. One of the hardest things about producing Skule Nite is trying to get the needs of all the different aspects met, because things that make some people's lives easier make other people's lives harder, and trying to find that balance can be difficult at times. A lot of duties that just have to get done don't really fall to anyone, they always fall to us.
Oh, hey, Sean, have you done the assignment yet? No, I was in an NSOC meeting. Well, have you started studying for the midterm yet? No, I was kindergarten.
Sean, I really think you should study.
Yeah, I'll get on it. It's just there's so much stuff to do here. Well, I gotta go get some work done. Yeah, we'll see you later. See you guys.
The next thing after that would be cast auditions. Three tiers.
Yeah.
3 axes, if you will.
Oh well, okay. They have to dance, they have to sing, and they have to act.
It's 3 things.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Kick, land, kick, land.
I auditioned in second year as a favor to a friend who needed a partner at the last minute, and then I got cast.
Did your partner not get cast?
She did not.
Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's fast. Kick it forward and back.
I was never involved in the arts, in high school or before university. I never did any dancing, never did any drama or acting. I like to sing, but I never did any choral singing, any choirs or anything. But when I saw Skule Nite, I really wanted to get involved.
My supervisor, Professor Greg Evans, who is an alumni of Skule Nite, was just raving about it, and he'd seen that I'd had experience in musical theatre before, and that this could be a really good place for me. But
Snivelly witch, evil witch.
All right, let's move on to history. Have you ever wondered how we know what really happened in the past?
I didn't know that I was auditioning for something. My brother just said, hey, you like singing and dancing and whatnot, come do this thing for me for a day.
I saw Skule Nite in my second year. My friend Sandra was in it, and I thought it was really hilarious, and the music was fun, so I decided to try out the next year.
Wait, do you see my heart on my sleeve? It's been there for days on end, and it's been waiting for you to open up. Just you, baby, come on now.
Coming into it, I had 0 expectations. Didn't know how hard it would be, or how strenuous, or whether people would be cool or not, or whether it was going to be really competitive, in Glee. You know that show, right? It turns out it's not like that at all, which is great.
When we were casting, we kind of ended up with 2 lists of people. There was a list of 16, there was a list of 14, and we spent, I don't know, hours and hours and hours. What actually was hours, but it felt like hours and hours and hours just looking at the 2 lists, because that was one of those moments where we were choosing which show we wanted.
That's when it starts feeling real, when you have a cast.
One night I'll know more, see what this is all for. One night I'll know where I stand. One night I'll be proud of everything I do now. One night I'll see just who I am. But that's not tonight, there's no end in sight. Oh no, I don't have time for
And the first few rehearsals starting in first semester are more about getting to know the other cast members and everyone else that's involved in the show.
We all got together for our first rehearsal, and then that's a great way to just make sure everybody knows each other.
Thanks everyone for coming. Hope you're all excited for the first meeting, get together, rehearsal, whatever this is, Skule Nite 1, 2, 3.
For like the first day, like when we met everyone, like cast and crew and everything, and we had to you had to do your favorite animal and line up in a wall and you couldn't talk. So this is how I told everyone I was a unicorn.
I mean, I expected them to all be artsy types, as in really flamboyant and kind of obnoxious, but they're not like that at all. It's actually the coolest group of people you'd ever meet. We're all here to have a really good time, to put on a really awesome show.
And the acting rehearsals in the fall are mostly focused on exercises and getting to know each other and breaking the ice.
So Haas and Manu, you guys can go even slower because I see that Haas, you're leading, right? So I can see that, I can tell. The goal is for us not to be able to tell who's leading. You have concrete shoes, so your feet are very heavy.
The weekday rehearsals go for 3 hours, and I get very tired. And but I just I have to make a really conscious effort to keep my energy up. So that's very difficult for me.
Took a look at the schedule, and it's 16 hours a week. So I'm definitely gonna have to see how to manage my studying with that. I started this year. I started going to class this year. We're just gonna have to tough through it.
We got a couple months into rehearsals, and it really started to feel like it. Everyone just comes together so much. It really feels like everyone's working as hard as they can to try and, put on this amazing show.
And then once January comes, that's when we hit the ground running into the content. 4 days a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 7 to 10. We do sketches, we read through sketches. And on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 4, that's our dance and singing.
We read through all the sketches that we have. So we go through multiple iterations. Each cast member just goes and reads each role, or whatever role they want to go through, as many times as they want.
Red Ranger, power of the salamander. Red Ranger, power of the salamander. Blue Ranger, elephant. Yellow Ranger, tiger. Green Ranger, bear. Pink Ranger, eagle. Ha! Whenever I laugh, it's kind of improv.
So the stage direction on it says, Guy 1 and Guy 2 laugh, Guy 3 is confused, and that's it.
Anyway, she was astronomical. I aspired to be with a girl like that.
I think it was Sean and Haas who read it, and for some reason they decided to do this ridiculous laugh motion thing.
She had great assets, if you know what I mean.
Like a house? Or a car? Or a diversified stock portfolio? Oh man, that's impressive.
The biggest challenge of being a new cast member in Skule Nite specifically is that you're not used to being so vulnerable. I mean, I can be asked to be a shark, and then a bear, and then a plane in the span of 25 minutes. And I have to do all these things and not be embarrassed about them in front of these people who I just met a couple weeks ago. And it gets a lot easier, but getting out of that mode and getting out of that shell is very, very difficult.
You have 1 hour left to finish your examination.
Ring, ring, ring! Ring, ring, ring! Pick up your phone! Hey, pick up your phone! Hey, it's me! It's your ringtone! I'm ringing! Pick it up!
I had no idea what kind of man hours were put into the whole production. It's incredible amount of work that people put into it. Even just being on the cast, it's It's up to 20 hours a week of work, plus stuff that we have to do on our own time to stay up to par with the expectations.
I'm used to studying.
Can I help you with anything?
Probably not. What you should ask is how can I help you with anything?
Fortunately not, my friend. Better luck next time.
No, wait, please. I need this.
Minimum, we were spending 16 hours a week together, and then for like the past month, you're spending a lot more time together. When it's like your weekends, you can't go home and see your family, and like that's always tough too.
We both come from very strong vocal backgrounds. We have a lot of choral experience, a lot of private voice lessons, and performance experience, and so we want the vocals to be of a very high caliber, and we have high expectations. And for some people on cast, they have backgrounds in performing, or even if they don't, they often they take a little bit of time to sort of get to where you want them to be.
We get people that have never seen sheet music before, and some people that are very, very well trained and have lots of background. So getting them all to the same level in a very short amount of time, yeah, that's quite challenging.
They'll walk in and tell you that they've never sang before and that they don't think they can sing, and people have told them they're absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
And then they'll still blow you away.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Grab your friends and grab your pen and get ready. It's copy time.
You got there.
It's a group of people who are so talented and work so hard and want it to look good, love being on stage, but don't really have any dance training. And so that's a ton of fun for me because I know that they're gonna, really work hard and want it to look perfect, but it's a challenge, I guess, for me as a teacher because I have to think of new ways to try to say something or do something that will get them to do the movement in the right way. And then the reward, I think, is even bigger than working with dancers because they sort of already know they can do it, and so they think your dance is cool, but they haven't really learned the same level, I guess. Whereas with Skule Nite, they think they can't do it, and they think, oh, I'm not really a dancer, I'm not going to be able to do that. And then in the end, when they actually can do it, it's so rewarding, and you see how excited they are about it, and so that's the big reward for me. I've never worked with a group like this that cares so much about how it looks, and you can just see it, like they're so intense and they're so focused and they practice and they want to get it right and they ask questions. And then when they go for it, they really, really go for it.
The band definitely does come together. It happens a little later than the cast, only because we're only just starting up now, but they really do come together, especially the week of the show. We get pushed together. You see each other for 6 hours a day for an entire week. So you become really close with people, and I've been fortunate to meet some of my close friends in school through playing with Skule Nite. One of the interesting dynamics within school music as a whole is I come from the orchestra side, and then there's also the stage band, the jazz guys. And Skule Nite is fantastic because it's the one place where all of us come together.
Just before reading week, we announce all the roles and the casting, and we give them the scripts. And then they have reading week to learn their lines. And then just before reading week is when we lock ourselves up in a secret hole somewhere, and based on the rehearsals, we cast the show and set the show order. When we come back at the end of February and the beginning of March, that's when the blocking rehearsals happen.
The meat.
That's the good stuff. That's where, we've casted it, we know that the show's gonna be amazing, we have the show order, it's a real show now, and you just have to actually make it happen. Mm-hmm. And it's in the span of like 3 weeks, which is
ridiculous.
Nuts.
There's no hope of solving this. Can't do question 5. Hold on.
At this point, from a cast point of view, this is when you finally get a character.
So we will take away from the kind of group the people that are in any sketch, and then we just kind of run it over and over.
Because that'll be back, we can get the Rolodex.
was probably assignment. Yeah, we were on the game.
Okay.
I would have. If you hadn't have done
Roll the dice.
This.
Assignment.
what I would have if you hadn't have done this.
Yes, it is ridiculous that we get the script together all of
So
4
late,
weeks
yeah.
before the show is supposed to be on stage. But what it allows us to do is really tailor the show to the cast, which other shows don't have the luxury of.
Isn't that awesome? I'll get to do whatever I want. Mr. Harris showed us a video today of bionic hand you can actually feel through. Isn't that so cool? Check it out.
Master Carpenter is the one that is in charge of building the set and any large set pieces. So this year I'm sharing that duty with Ian Linus. And there's a lot of set this year. That's probably the big project for any of us is going to be set.
We came up with this mock design where it's just a giant U around the entire stage, which was nuts. And so we're like, okay, who could possibly do this?
And it was like Adam and Ian.
Adam and Ian. Because when you're going to try something crazy, you need to choose crazy people to help you. So
we found the craziest.
Ian Linus and Adam, everyone. Yeah.
So the big major issue was the scaffolding, when we ordered it, arrived 2 or 3 months later than they said it was going to. Our wood order didn't come in until the 3rd week of February. So we've only been building for about 2 weeks now. Really only building for 1 week, majorly. There's a lot of stuff left to do. The build process typically goes this way for Skule Nite though, because we're all in the middle of midterms and stuff. We're students, we like to procrastinate. So we're a day or 2 behind our proposed schedule, but we're ahead of my internal schedule that, it says what I kind of plan on being done at what time. There's a lot of late nights and stuff, but it's totally worth it. I like the fact that as students we're so free to do whatever we want in an actual theater, and they just sort of let us run wild in it, so it's really cool to have that experience. Most people would never be able to do that.
Technical director is very much a bridge between the director and the rest of tech. So on the surface of it, the technical directors are responsible for creating many of the special effects, organizing the special effects, and figuring out a way to integrate the cast and the tech in order to make the effects work. At the end of the day, we are responsible for everything that's not singing, dancing, or acting.
So I came out, started building, I know what I was getting myself into, and now I'm here. It seems like the time frame's a little shorter this year. Usually you just make it out of foam, but there's also times you gotta just go down Chinatown, go to Kensington, and be creative, and then figure out what you can do. Because usually the things they want don't exist in stores.
We get the script about 2 or 3 weeks before the actual performance, and they gave me like maybe 1 or 2 words about what kind of costume they needed, for example, caveman. That's kind of the extent to which they give me information. And then it's up to me and the other designers and costumers to come up with a design, get the fabric, look through old costumes to see what we've got to work with, and then put it all together. It totals up to about like 75 hours of work put in over 2 weeks. And I think the biggest reward will probably be when the actors try on their costumes and they actually fit. I'm looking forward to that, but if it doesn't fit, I'm not looking forward to that at all.
This assignment's got you down. Don't know where to start. Doing less than 7 hours. About to fall apart. But don't worry, there's a way. You'll make the deadline. Just head down to the common room and grab your friends and grab your pen and get ready. It's copy time.
Run-throughs are kind of analogous to previews of like a real show, but pretty much it's 4 runs. We book UTS and we do 4 runs of the show, almost back to back, and we give notes and we workshop it.
It's Friday night, so we're here at UTS. run through weekend. And we're just setting up the staff, so the band up top, and have the deck out for cast to dance, and it should be pretty good. We have fossils who are past directors and past choreographers or past writers, and even past cast members sometimes, that all come together for these 2 days. They all come together to help the show. The tech and crew guys, the stage manager, and I guess tech fossils as well, come in Friday night, Friday before the weekend, to set up everything that they need to set up. So that means taping the theater out, setting up the SCAF. In our case, it was the set, which took a lot of people. Moving in all the props and all those extra things that they need, like the soundboards, all that stuff. Band brings in their instruments, and cast brings in their costumes in preparation for the weekend. So it's pretty much like, get there, set up, do your first run, get some notes, do your second run, and then do more notes. Essentially, it is like the first time we're running the show for real with the set. So everything, of course, is gonna be new to everybody. So it's just a great way to have everybody learn together to get the show ready for show week.
The idea of running the show 4 times over the space of 2 days is also very ridiculous. But I have heard some alumni have gone on to do other shows, and they're like, man, I really wish that we had a run through weekend because it's so much fun and it does so much, and like you wouldn't think so. And it's really tough because the way you describe run through weekend is that it is simultaneously the best and the worst experience that you're going to have all year.
It's like 40 hours of school night in a 47-hour weekend because it's on daylight saving time this weekend.
Much better now. Don't you feel alive? Copying your way through. Mom, I suddenly question why.
It's incredibly hectic and very tiring and very intense, but it's so rewarding because you get to see how the show grows over the course of the weekend.
Call was at 5:30 in the morning, which is maybe a little bit insane. Left campus maybe around 2:30, got back around 3, and then I had the brilliant idea of showering because hygiene is good. So I fell asleep around 4, and then we had to be there for 7:30 the next day. So slept till 7, got there. Yeah, so about 8 hours for the whole weekend.
I think the difference between Skule Nite and most shows, rehearsal-wise, is run through weekend. So we start on the Wednesday and go all the way to Saturday. We have 2 shows on the Saturday. A year's, maybe more than a year's worth of work coming together in like 4 days.
Yeah.
And you've been up at the most ridiculous hours in the last couple days before opening night. And just to see everything kind of come together is amazing.
The role of the stage manager is to basically take charge of what's going on stage, and it starts as soon as we get into the theater.
We get to sit and watch and relax, where the stage manager is the most stressed person
on stage. When you get to the week of the show, and you have a show every night, and you get there and you're exhausted after staying up so late the night before, and it's physically exhausting doing this too, and the energy is always there. Everyone's always prepped and ready to go for the show. We're always amped up and just ready to go, and I think that's the one thing that will always ring true.
You know you've worked on something for so long and so hard, and you love it. You love everything that everyone's put into the show, and you can finally show people and give them entertainment, make them laugh, make them enjoy everything that you've all worked on. So it's just a really exciting time. The whole week is like the best week of my school year.
It's that week that I'm gonna cherish the most, even though I'm like, it's like 4 a.m. and I'm like, and we're all in SF, and like, I'm hungry and I'm tired, and people are talking to me and giving me notes, and I have to write this stuff down. But still, it's like the most fun thing ever because you're with some of your best friends sitting beside you, making something magical happen.
We were waiting to do our shakedown, and so we were waiting for the directors, and like everyone just like, we're grouped together, and like people just kind of spoke, and it's a really unique experience, and cast is very close. Some people call it cult-like, but it's not.
It was just like a weird feeling of looking around at all these people and thinking of how we had just fooled around all year, and we had a show all of a sudden.
And cast is learning some last-minute choreography, but I think they'll get it. There's always some last-minute stuff that happens, so we're making some final adjustments to make sure we have our moments that we want.
So we're just lifting him down to the ground, and the reason why we're doing that is so he doesn't have to leave the center of the stage.
Buddy, opening night. Here we go.
Having a great time. Mr. happy. He's so happy.
Okay, what is ugly about this thing? What needs to be fixed?
You more. Oh, Jimmy, that's you're welcome. Oh,
It's fine, I guess. It doesn't smell too bad. We'll see on Saturday. Oh, there he is. Don't tell my city.
I don't know what's going on with 74. I'm so annoyed with it.
Marginally nervous, but otherwise good.
Yeah. Scratch that crapping pants that I was telling you about last week. Not anymore. Confident.
Can I answer honestly? Am I prepared? Can I face tomorrow with someone care?
Yeah. Cool? Yeah.
Are you on ClearCom? Yeah. So they're gonna start now, yeah? So it's 7:48. You have 12 minutes to curtain. Do you want to go with North Shore? Cheering. They just finished playing the first overture. I'm a soloist in the first number. Everyone is really excited. Chris and Scott just gave us a speech that made everyone tear up. Everyone's really excited. And we're really close, and I can feel everyone's energy.
Oh, hey, the party started without me. Hey, guys, hey. What's that? Oh, my ring. I'm not gonna wear it tonight. Maybe because I don't want to lose it on the same night I got it. Well, of course I still have it with me. Or maybe I'm just not ready for it. How did I find
doing the show is what is insanely gratifying. Being able to perform to audiences that laugh at everything, sold out audiences in this giant theater, like that is so gratifying as an experience that it would almost be worth it by itself. But it's the people and the experiences and just the stuff you get to do at being part of Skule Nite. I would say that is what pushes it way beyond the top. If it doesn't look hard, then we did our job right. If it doesn't look like we're stressed and tired and putting all this effort in, then that I would call a success. If you can sit in the audience and just laugh and just enjoy the show and not think how awful our lives must be, that's how I would say it's a success as a show.
What if it's like they say, and these years were the best years of my life.
It teaches you everything the class can't, and it's important to do that when you're in a program like engineering, and class is so much of your life.
Without Skule Nite, undergrad would have sucked, straight up. Like, it would have been boring, it would have been, I would have nothing to look forward to during the entire school year. But Skule Nite has helped me to cope with the hells of engineering.
Skule Nite is definitely not for the light-hearted. It's completely different to anything I've ever done, theatre-wise, musical-wise, acting-wise, everything.
I was actually considering dropping out in between first and second year. And then second year I did Skule Nite, and all of a sudden I met like all these new people, and I don't know, it was really nice and kind of motivational to have all these people. Some of them were in fourth year or third year, and they were being like, don't worry, like, you're gonna get through this, you're gonna make it through.
And also being on stage, that's really great, but it happens 5 times and then it's over. So if it's the glory you're after, that's very short-lived. It's sitting around in sweatpants like at 3 in the morning trying to put together the show. That's what counts.
My iron rings, right here on display. Here to say, I've got everything I need inside me, ready to face the new days, bring on the new days, bringing the ready to
That was fun. That was beautiful. That was not what I. That was fun.
Party time! Party time! Party time! What? It's so great. Yes! Oh, it's so good! So good!
I love how you guys actually build it.
I know, but I had really fun.
I've got all the songs stuck back.
Do the Harlem Shake!
like, man, it's over now. But then I fell asleep for like 8 hours. I'm really, really happy that this was my first show.
You've invested so much into this, five shows, and then it's a memory now. When you're in school, you're going a million miles an hour for Skule Nite, and then you have to go a million miles an hour for school because you've been neglecting it for this whole time you've been doing Skule Nite.
I couldn't imagine being at U of T and not doing Skule Nite.
These 8 months of preparation came down to this, and now it's over. But it's happy because like we made a show. We made an amazing show.
So many people come together to work on it, and they all do things that society doesn't think they can do. We're all supposed to be engineers, or we're all supposed to be studying something. But we all come together and use these other abilities, these other loves and passions that we have to create something awesome.
I think I've learned a lot from Skule Nite overall in the 4 years that I've been doing it. It's really developed me as a person in terms of working with other people and being able to coordinate with other people and stuff like that. So I've taken a lot away from it.
I'm looking forward to next year because I'm not leaving just like that. There's no cold turkey for Skule Nite.
We're really lucky to have a great culture where people are so willing to give hundreds of hours of their own time.
We're all just volunteers. You know, like no one really has to do anything. Really.
Yeah.
Like there's something about Skule Nite which makes it a community, and I don't know, I think it's different for everybody, but everybody can find something.
On one level, that's what Skule Nite is. It's these 5 shows in March that most people, come once every year and see it and then leave and forget about it. But then on another level and on a more meaningful level, it's all this process and every hour you put into it. And honestly, I think that's why people keep coming back. That's why we have fossils that come back year after year, is because once you've gone through the kind of ordeal that is Skule Nite, you can't get it out of you.
You grow a bit as a person, and then you find yourself in a place that you're like pretty happy with. So it's been a journey, and it's been a great journey.
Definitely a once in a lifetime kind of experience.
We made a show!
We can't just buy ourselves sushi on student money all the time.
Which we don't.
We never did that.
Oh, this is sad that I don't actually really do anything else. This is something I've not realised in my life.
This March, Skule Nite 1T3. A production so incredible, you will never experience love the same way again.
If there's anything I've learned, don't tell your parents you're doing Skule Nite. No, I'm kidding. I just couldn't tell my parents. Hi, Dad. I've been doing Skule Nite for 4 years.
Hi, my name is Nicole Tavares. I'm at Chem 1T3.
Yeah, my name is... Sorry, I'm the worst. We're never gonna get this. We can't.
Cheers, Jimmy.
Completely break the entire document. Yeah, I think it's been a hell of a ride.